6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The travel restrictions relaxed, but inter-provincial restrictions will remain in force till the 5th of next month. The President will address the nation today. Another 1,917 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in Sri Lanka yesterday. Sri Lanka strengthens ties with Kazakhstan. 78,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine will be received by the country next month. News overseas, Narendra Modi meets Jammu and Kashmir regional leaders. In sports, England won the second T20 against Sri Lanka to seal the series. And those are the headlines. Police media spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana says that travel restrictions were relaxed at 4 a.m. today. However, the travel restrictions between provinces are still in place until the 5th of next month. Those who will be arrested for breaking quarantine regulations will not be given police bail and will be directly produced to courts. The Director General of Health Services Consultant Dr. Hasela Gunawardena says that although the restrictions have been relaxed, the people should strictly adhere to the health guidelines and act in a responsible manner. He added that in the event the patients increases, strict restrictions will have to be imposed. State Minister Dilum Amnagama says limited bus and train services will be carried out inside the provinces during the period of relaxation of restrictions. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will address the nation at 8:30 p.m. today. Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation has made arrangements to air the President's speech live through all its services, including regional services of SLBC. The President's media division says it will be simultaneously broadcast by all television and other radio channels. The Epidemiology Unit of the Health Ministry reports that another 1,917 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in Sri Lanka yesterday, moving the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 248,050. As many as 212,825 recoveries and 2,814 deaths have been confirmed so far in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the pandemic. The Epidemiology Unit's data showed that 32,456 active cases are currently under medical care. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The government says 78,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine will be received by the country next month. State Minister Professor Chandajaya Sumana says that the country is expected to get the vaccine within first 3 weeks of next month. He said that 26,000 doses will be brought down weekly for 3 weeks. State Pharmaceuticals Corporation has purchased the stock of vaccine. It is the first consignment of vaccine that will be brought down to the country. COVID-19 vaccines made by AstraZeneca and Pfizer Biotech Alliance remain broadly effective against Delta and Kappa variants of COVID-19 causing virus, which were first identified in India according to a scientific study. The study of Oxford University researchers published in the journal Cell investigated the ability of antibodies in the blood from people who were vaccinated with the two-shot regimes or JAPs to neutralize the highly contagious Delta and Kappa variants. Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Russian Federation with concurrent accreditation to the Republic of Kazakhstan, Professor M.D. Lamavansa, and an embassy delegation paid their first official visit to the Republic of Kazakhstan. The delegation had a series of meetings with several institutions of the Republic of Kazakhstan, including the Foreign Affairs Ministry, State Protocol, and Asia-Pacific Departments, Culture and Sports Ministry, and the Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, Chamber of International Commerce. The parties discussed the prospects for cooperation between Sri Lanka and Kazakhstan with a focus on intensification of the bilateral mechanism of collaboration in trade, sports, and tourism. The annual Asala festival of the Katragama Devalaya will commence on the 10th of July. This annual Asal festival of the Katharagama Devalaya will conclude on 24th July with the water cutting festival at the Maniganga. Basnayaka Nilame Gishan Gunasekara says that a decision will be taken later whether the public will be allowed to participate in religious activities or watch the Parahara during the entire period of the festival. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Health Minister Pavitra Vaniarache says that the government has allocated $425.6 million to purchase COVID vaccines for the people in Sri Lanka. The government is to buy 13 million doses of Sputnik V jabs, 5 million Pfizer vaccines, 10 million Covishield and 14 million doses of Sinopharm vaccines. The minister says that the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank have agreed to grant the necessary funds. And that came to you in top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, the Department of Examinations announced applications for the scrutiny of a 2020 GCE Advanced Level Examination results will only be called online. Commissioner General of Examinations Sanaj Pujita stated that applications are being accepted the 10th of July. The Commission also states that the recommendation of the principal is not required for the applications of school applicants. Candidates can apply by visiting the website of the Sri Lanka Department of Examinations, www.doenets.lk. I repeat, www.doenets.lk. And that's Watchlight. And moving on to world news headlines. Narendra Modi meets Jammu and Kashmir regional leaders. 51 persons are uncounted after the collapse of a 12-story residential building in Miami. Microsoft unveils Windows 11. And those are the headlines of the World News Bulletin. Moving on to the stories in detail, Indian PM Narendra Modi met politicians from Jammu and Kashmir yesterday amid speculation that Delhi's 3-year direct rule might end with elections. It was the first such meeting since the controversial decision to revoke the region's special status in 2019. Mr. Modi's government had imposed direct rule in 2018 after a coalition with the local party broke up. Relations between Delhi and the restive Muslim-majority Kashmir Valley have worsened in recent years. At least one person has died and 51 others are unaccounted for after the collapse overnight of a 12-story residential building north of Miami, Florida, officials say. Rescuers are coming the rubble in the search of the survivors and were seen pulling a boy out alive. It is unclear how many people were in the building at the time of collapse. Microsoft has unveiled Windows 11, its next-generation operating system, at a virtual event. The new software will let Android applications run on the Windows desktop. Product manager Panos Panay promised smaller, faster security updates, a common complaint for Windows users, and said they would happen in the background. Windows 11 will also let users configure multiple desktops for work, home, and gaming like on Mac. And that's world news. Moving on to development news, the Ministry of Health has decided to set up one cardiac laboratory in each province of Sri Lanka. Minister of Health Pavitra Vaniarache yesterday installed one such cardiac laboratory worth 250 million rupees in the Nagoda General Hospital, Kaluthara. Nagoda Hospital, Kaluthara, has received this month needed cardiac laboratory under the Chinese project to improve the facilities of selected government hospitals. And that's development news. And moving on to sports. England beat Sri Lanka by 5 wickets in the second T20 and won the series with a game to spare. After a 40-minute rain break at 69 for 4, the hosts completed the revised chase of 103 with 11 balls remaining in Cardiff. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Cricket will donate 40 million rupees to the Sports Ministry to support athletes representing the country at next month's Olympic Games in Tokyo. Secretary Mohan De Silva said SLC will also bid for 3 major ICC events during the next 7-year tournament cycle from 2024 to 2031. And that's sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's banks, which borrowing to buy international sovereign bonds with borrowed dollars, may face higher risk, Fitch Ratings has said. High yields on Sri Lanka sovereign bonds have prompted some banks to buy them, which were barred by the central bank until April. However, they are now allowed to buy ISBs provided the money came from new borrowings.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
In an effort to support all players in the SME ecosystem, the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce has organized a national SME forum in collaboration with public, private and non-governmental sector organizations engaged in SME sector development. This virtual engagement will initiate high-level policy discussions with an aim to accelerate economic growth through creating a dynamic SME sector.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says the showers will occur at times in Sabarkama province and in Kandy and Nuwara districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in Uva province and in Batikalo and Ampara districts in the evening or night. Several spells of showers will occur in northwestern and western provinces and in Galle and Matara districts.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Before we wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The travel restrictions relaxed, but inter-provincial restrictions will remain in force until the 5th of next month. The President will address the nation today. Another 1,917 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in Sri Lanka yesterday. Sri Lanka strengthens ties with Kazakhstan. 78,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine will be received by next month. News overseas, Narendra Modi meets Jammu and Kashmir regional leaders. In sports, England won the second T20 against Sri Lanka to seal the series. And with that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.